I'm going to be talking about Athabasca's Going Unmanned, an ethnodrama about incarcerated youth, written by Diane Conrad. This is part of the social fiction series by Sense Publishers, which highlights social arts-based research, and it is also based on her award-winning research entitled The Transformation Potential of Drama in the Education of Incarcerated Youth. This is from 2007. I was not able to find a copy of the actual research report that she did, not the drama, because I wanted to get more background information, but I wasn't able to get a hold of it. This work does come out of 3 years that Conrad spent teaching weekly drama classes in jail, and she used her field notes, journals, observations, tons of artifacts that were a product of these classes as her data. Before I tell you a little bit more about the storyline, I want to share some basic research questions. How can we do youth justice differently? How do we make change? What is the change we're looking for, and what's needed to get there? What might an alternative look like? What role can applied theater play? What are the challenges and pitfalls? Conrad tells us in her introduction to the book that it was her intent from the beginning to write a full-length ethnodrama from this research that she was doing, so she had this type of reporting in her mind from the beginning when she started collecting her data. The book, as I said, is set in a youth correctional facility in Alberta, Canada. There's 6 characters. There's the brand new prison director, Val, who's a white woman in her 30s, and Eileen is a Cree woman who is 40 years old, and she comes in to teach creative arts, native cultural practices, and drama to the inmates. Jim is a white man in his 30s who's the prison guard, and then there are the 3 inmates, all teenagers. Wesley is Cree, and he's in prison because he killed his mother. Stan is white and is in for some type of repeat offense. Randy is Métis, which is if you're not familiar with the term, it is a mix of Native and European descent. And he's charged with assault and awaiting trial. The races represented are carefully chosen, and they represent like common tensions across cultures and social strata in this part of Canada. And the notes for the cast options, for example, for Stan's character, in the notes it says the character can be either white, black, or Asian. At one point in the play, Wesley, one of the inmates, calls Stan a Windian, which is a way of saying that he's an ally, that he's a friend, that he's a white Indian. And the notes in the drama say that you can insert Chindian or Blindian depending on the race of the character in the role. So Chindian would be Chinese Indian, and Blindian, Black Indian. So she obviously chose these carefully to represent part of the reality that she was part of. The play covers 2.5 months, and we learn about each character along the way through their time in arts class with Val and Eileen, through interactions with Jim, through bits of television news reports seen on a screen on stage, and through the dream sequence portrayals of characters' hopes, fears, and aspirations. Conrad uses popular or applied theater approaches with at-risk youth. This is from her University of Alberta faculty website. And she bases her research on a pedagogy of engagement. She sees the play as a teaching tool for promoting critical thinking and creative problem-solving skills. She explains this in the introduction. Her theoretical perspectives come from role theory and post-structuralism. It's suggested in role theory that through the many roles we each play, mother, brother, teacher, doctor, whatever, the roles, think of many of them, when we do this, we're continually recreating ourselves. Role theory is used in education and psychology popularly to help people be able to imagine new choices for behavior so that when faced with certain situations, acting in new and healthier ways won't seem impossible. People can, in effect, stretch their own understanding of themselves and what they can accomplish or what they can avoid. The role-play practices can also help those watching the drama understand what may be going on with another person while they're acting out this role. Post-structuralism goes hand in hand with role theory in saying that who we are is constructed by what we do instead of who we are controlling what we do. The methodology she uses is ethnodrama, and the data I already mentioned, and the descriptions of the characters given in script notes, as well as the lines and behaviors they portray, are both a combination of description and interpretation. We don't know how she actually analyzed her data per se. Conrad claims that using drama as a teaching method can be transformative for both the teacher and student, and I I see in the play it definitely shows possible ways that this can be true. My critique would begin with our inability to know Conrad's reflexive processes used in crafting this drama. In the article we read on the first day of class by Ronnie Berger, we were given a list of things that influence our position as researchers, from age to gender, race, language spoken, etc. There's no way of knowing how reflexive Conrad was without further background to her work. Just can't tell. Glesny advocates for reflexivity, but not to the point of using our research to shift the entire focus to ourselves, heading into ethno-narcissism. Well, there's an interesting setup in the play that makes me wonder about this. The character of Eileen is older than the others, 40 years old. She's Cree, and she teaches native culture, craft, and drama class. We don't know Conrad's race, but she is a middle-aged woman who's taught drama classes in the jail for 3 years. The character Eileen is spiritual, caring, kind, and wise. She's not perfect, but she's the most trusting of the kids. She's the one who trusts most that the kids should have the opportunity to explore their emotions through drama, and she has the least standing between her and the best interests of the kids, unlike Val, who's protective of her programs, and Jim, who wants to maintain order above all else. It would make sense that this character reflects the researcher, but is this a way of being reflexive? Is this ethno-narcissistic? I don't know. It's a bit unlike the discussions we had in class. It's a specific situation, I don't know, but it's an interesting thing to consider that she may have written herself in this regard. Conrad is interested in the use of drama as I said, as an alternative approach to education, one that would allow young men who've gotten into trouble to try out other roles for themselves, to imagine what different behaviors and actions might look like, and in such a way be readied and able to perceive alternative choices as valid possibilities when situations arise. She uses the context of drama in prison and the theoretical perspectives of role play and post-structuralism effectively in this regard. Her choice of ethnodrama is a great way to present sensitive material while protecting participants. She could be dramatic while protecting privacy, use an interesting art form, and reach that larger audience that Richardson and Glesny both suggested in our readings. Now, Eisner, who was cited in our Glesny Chapter 9 reading, uses ethnodrama often to report on his research and shares how drama can help the audience better understand the complexities of a situation, can engender feelings of compassion, and help other researchers think about similar problems in new ways. Glesny also notes how well ethnodrama can be used to highlight, and I quote, tensions, conflicts, and differing perspectives, all of which are covered extensively in this play. So it was a good choice. The description, analysis, and interpretation are difficult to tease apart in this type of research reporting. Description is multi-layered, coming across not only from spoken words, but from intonation, body movements, staging, and lighting. She's distilled her experience of the jail into basically 5 people, if we count herself as Eileen. So we have the program director, the prison guard, and 3 inmates. Conrad uses this handful of characters to express what she experienced in the field and to give the varied perspectives of her participants, their responses to different situations and stimuli, and a range of possible ultimate outcomes. Her claims are validated through the positive changes that we see develop in some of the characters by the end of the play. And in another 2007 article by Conrad on using drama in education, she says that drama education offers unique opportunities for performativity, for a process of constructing and reconstructing roles and identities, and a critical self-reflection upon these roles towards alternative ends. I believe she showed this to be true. I just want to mention, because it'll make sense when you see my handout, that there is a theme running through this play of escape. One of the characters, Wesley, really wants to escape prison. He wants to get out, and he wants to get out now. Randy is more patient. Randy keeps advising Wesley to just wait. He has 1 year left. Just wait. It'll just be worse for you. Stan is kind of the passive go-along friend who's like, oh, you want to do it? Okay. Yeah, that's how he comes off. Now, Jim, of course, is never going to allow something like this to happen. He's going to maintain control no matter what. Val, the program director, doesn't want her programs to be risked by this kind of behavior in her class participants. And, you know, this is seen by Jim as, you know, if something goes wrong, well, it's the fault of your programs. You know, you shouldn't be doing this kind of thing with the kids. So she's kind of protective of that, while Eileen is saying, If they're thinking about escape, let's explore that through drama. Don't worry about it. You know, we don't want we don't want to cause trouble, but they should be able to explore these kinds of situations and be able to look at alternatives. So that's a very concrete example from the play that really focuses on the alternative educational possibilities through drama. Now, relating what I've learned from this book to my own writing, I do not see myself ready in any near future to carry out what Conrad has done so effectively in this play. As a beginner, I'm much more aware through this book and through this class how important reflexivity is, how to relate theory to my research and methodologies, and sometimes subtle delineations between description, analysis, and interpretation. The importance of having a solid trail of evidence from your claims to your conclusions. I see Conrad's work as inspirational and challenging, and I realize reading it what a double dose of skill and expertise is required to not only do research well, but to transform it into such an expressive and engaging medium that can reach beyond academe. I see myself following a much more traditional style of interpretation, at least to begin with, but I'm excited to know what is possible. Thanks.